Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Space Engineers as a German engineer. If you're new here, I'm Daniel. I've been born and raised in Germany and I've been living and working as a software engineer in the San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley for the last 10 or so years. The drone is working. In the last episode, we discovered that the drone that we had set up in the episode before was doing weird things and kind of flying backwards away from waypoints. I spent a couple of minutes it was more like an hour in between episodes to try to figure out how to fix the drone. I'm not 100% convinced it's like 100% reliable, but what I did is... So I turned off precision mode. This was like my first kind of like idea. Maybe precision mode is the problem. I turned it off in all the spots where I didn't have to rely on it, but the drone would still do this weird behavior where it would kind of like approach a waypoint, pass by it, turn around, and then fly away from it backwards. The way that I was able to fix it, however, was to reduce the speed limit and have precision mode off. I'm not sure if either one of them alone would do it, but I'm doing both. So I turn off precision mode and I reduce the speed limit to 1 meter per second. And so far, the drone has not missed any of its waypoints anymore. I then kind of increase the speed limit again once the drone has passed the waypoints that cause these problems, and then reduce it again in the approach. Actually, I've been only having these problems when the drone leaves fully loaded. So I've been decreasing the speed only for when the drone is leaving, when it's traveling between the stations, or when it's approaching the dock, as it is doing right now. It is actually not reduced in speed. I've been letting this run for a while, and it's been running fine so far, which is great because we actually will need this drone. We need to rely on this drone right now, because what we want to do next is we want to work on thrusters and weapons for the space rockets. Let's quickly go over to the base and figure out what we need to do next. Okay, so in the last episode, we did a bunch of the kind of interior work for the rocket, and we've basically, most of the interiors are built out and decorated and ready to go. But there's still some functionality that is dearly missing for a ship, and let's look at it quickly. In particular, we haven't added any weapons yet. I definitely want to look at what weapons options we have and what we should add and where we should add it to the ship today. And then the other thing is we need to add maneuvering thrusters. I actually don't know if I have it on my list here. I may have... Oh, no, here it is. Right. Add maneuvering thrusters. I don't believe, actually, that the engine uses these thrusters and can actually use them for spinning the ship around, but I think it just makes sense to add them. We want to have some maneuvering thrusters on the top of the rocket and at the bottom of the rocket, so that they can at least conceptually help the rocket kind of flip around and spin and stuff like that. So we're going to add those, and we're going to explore weapons. And so one of the big things about weapons is, if I'm not mistaken, here, let's quickly, there's like, isn't there like a Gatling turret or something like that? Yeah, here, Gatling turret. One of the things about weapons, and I'm looking at this here right now, and I don't see it here. Or, you know what? I think it's actually the ammunition, right? Gatling ammo box. Exactly. For this ammo, we will need magnesium powder. In fact, we need it for, I think, most of the different types of ammunition. And if you look at our dashboard here, we currently have basically no magnesium. I don't think we have any at the ice mine. No. And we also don't have any at the MMR. Effectively, what this means is we need to empty out the MMR, get all the material from the MMR over to our base, so that we can move the MMR and fly it somewhere where we can mine magnesium. So the drone will have to do a lot of trips for that. But yeah, so we'll need to be able to get magnesium going, which means we need to empty out the MMR so that we can move the MMR somewhere else. I'm just looking at this here right now. That's a lot of material. It'll take a while, I think. I actually don't know how much cargo the drone now has. We did grind down one of the cargo containers. The intention, by the way, when we did that, was to fix the bug that we just encountered again, where we would run into this problem where the drone was kind of like reversing back. It might be worth trying to weld this back up again and fly with twice the amount of cargo, and see if the other fixes that we've made, the speed fixes and the precision mode fixes, if they by themselves work. Or maybe it's just a combination of all three things, right, that makes it work. Let's quickly look. 15,000 liters. I don't know how much. Looks like 1 to 10 roughly. Let me look that up. Yeah, so a kilogram of iron ingots is 0.12 liters. So if we have 15,000 liters, yeah, we have 15,000 liters that we can store. A little bit more, 16,000 maybe. 16,000 liters. It's roughly 150,000 kilograms. So it's like a 100,000 to 150,000 bars per trip. And we have, if we look at this here again, 5 million, 5.5 million, 5.5 million divided by 150. It's like 36 trips. So this drone will need to do its thing reliably for a while. That said, we can cut this down in half basically by welding up the second container. So I'm gonna give that a shot. If that doesn't work, and we'll keep an eye on the drone, we can still reverse this again and grind it down again. We may also want to speed up the travel speed a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. Doesn't need to be crazy fast, but I think it would make sense. Increase speed limit. So this is for the travel. Let's increase it twice more. That should put it at roughly to 21. Let's do one more. 26. Leave start. Decrease speed limit. So now the travel is a little bit faster. The approaches will still be relatively slow. I do wonder though if the approach now could be too fast, because it is going to speed up to 26 here on the approach. Oh, it looks good. That looks good. Okay, this should be fine. This should work hopefully. Actually, let's quickly check if the filling up works and how it flies with the cargo containers back intact. Did I set it to start flying when this one is full? Actually, I should check that. Full event controller, cargo container 1. So actually, it might. Oh, I guess it fills up because the battery isn't charged. So charging the battery takes longer than actually filling up the cargo container. Oh. Oh. No, it's backing away. Well, that is disappointing. Let's empty out that one cargo container again. Okay, it's flying correctly again. So let's go to the rocket and see if we can install some thrusters and some weapons. So what we will need is we will need some thrusters, one on each of these sides here, and we will need one on each of these sides on the top and one like on the bottom, I think. And we need to figure out where exactly we want to put them. So I think right around here, so relatively far down would make sense on the bottom, and relatively far up, but it doesn't need to be exactly, like maybe we'll put them here. We could put them above, so obviously we can't put them where the door is or other blocks that are being kind of like have some kind of practical role. For example, this ramp block here. So the earliest is here or above right there. If we put it above right there, we would have a conveyor block in here because we do need to back them with conveyors. We'd have to run conveyors around all the way here. If we lift it up one more and put it right there, we could hide the conveyor like in the floor, right? Like with these blocks here, you wouldn't see it necessarily as much. Here it's obviously like you'd have the conveyor run all around here, which wouldn't be the worst thing. But what about if we put it underneath? There, maybe. So we already have conveyor there, which is one benefit. Let me see here. There's actually, I want to make sure that I get the right spot. So this is the floor. So one underneath the floor, right? Oh, hello. So it would be deep behind these here, and then would go across over here and come around here. I mean, I think that would be fine, right? This looks much nicer in-game than it did on my thumbnail. That's one option. Let's look at the bottom again, though. I want to see where from the inside we are. So right now we have this connector here, which connects the... This, by the way, is also another thing that we should do. We may want to actually establish a proper connector and disconnect the rocket from the base, because right now it's technically one grid. So if I put a connector here somewhere, then it will allow us to disconnect the rocket from the base and make it its own independent grid, which is stuck to the base, but like we could then start moving it and stuff. Also give us some insight possibly into, because we'll need to see what the weight of the rocket is and if we can actually lift it with the thrusters that we have. So we'll figure it out though. Okay, so I mean we could just use this conveyor here in theory. Let's look at it from the inside. So I think this might be here. Here. I'm not 100% sure. Let's look. Yeah, there we go. So if we wanted to, so we have a conveyor. Oh, this is actually the thruster, right? It is the thruster. So what is behind here? More thruster. So we could put the thruster in there and then just run conveyor to it like this through the thruster. Could have just a pipe, like a corner pipe here. I mean, you need to use these conveyor blocks for air tightness. Do I use the industrial ones or the regular ones is the question. First. I think I like these better. At least for the control thrusters. And I'm gonna put another one here. Okay, so these two are welded up. I just need to... I do think I need to disconnect this here. If I want to put these over here. So maybe I wait with that a little bit, because I don't think I'm ready to quite do that yet. I'll need to build a connector first to do that. So maybe let's look at this over here now. So here. I need to access this from the inside though, I think. Alright, it's behind this stuff. It's this vent here, actually. Yeah, I can set it on the vent, right? Yeah. Needs to be here. And this I can probably get from this here somehow. Okay, so I have the 4 thrusters installed. I think they're all on the right height. Oh, did I miss? No, this is right. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. And so to install these remaining thrusters down here, why is this? Oh, they're not connected yet. Haha. I will need to disconnect the ship. Let's connect this here quickly. Okay, so to be able to disconnect this, I will need to build a new connection somewhere. And the question is, where do we want to load and unload the rocket? And the answer is in this area here. So I have my cargo containers in this area, and if I ever need to kind of like automatically pump stuff into the rocket, to load it, I want the stuff to go here and into the cargo containers, not like into assemblers or into any other kind of components. So I want the connector that loads and unloads the ship to connect to a cargo container, ideally. And so I think this run here might make sense. Although this cargo container would get stuffed, definitely. So maybe what we're gonna do is grind down this one and flip it so that this connector goes back here so that we have it on the right side. Okay, so now I can... That said though, we probably also want to have some kind of sorting mechanism here, right? So we may want to have... how's this gonna work? Now I'm no longer convinced that this is the right spot to put this. I think we wanted to have it on a side where there is no regular conveyor, or we want to completely skip the regular conveyor. If we wanted to completely skip the regular conveyor, though, we can't really put the connector in the center. So that's why we may want to put it somewhere else. Here's the reasoning for that, right? So, like, we can't put it in the center if we want to skip this conveyor, obviously. And if I want to have a conveyor sorter setup here that allows me to expel specific things and pump in specific things, then I need to have two sorter blocks here that do not connect with the rest of the conveyor system. Because if I connect them with the rest of the conveyor system and they pull stuff in, depending on which side of the conveyor system they are, either when they pull stuff in or when they expel stuff, they'll just pull it into the general conveyor system and might land anywhere in the ship instead of in the main cargo containers. Or when I expel stuff into the conveyor system, obviously, like, it'll just end up somewhere else in the ship instead of what the ship is connected to. I did like the idea of having the connector on the side, though. It's gonna be on the opposite side of the bridge. It's not that big a deal, I think, if I had it somewhere else. What if I put it on the same side of as the bridge? I think I might like that. Yeah. Oh, the ladder is here. Well, the ladder is less of a problem, though. I mean, yes, it is a problem right here. So, yeah, okay, so having the connector on the same side of the bridge actually makes sense. Because, so right now in the silo here, obviously, I can relatively easily access the rocket from any side. But let's say we have a space station later in space that we want to dock the rocket to. Then having the connector on this side, as the same side as the bridge, makes sure that we can actually dock the rocket to something that then also we can access through a bridge or some other kind of access tunnel or something like that. So yes, I definitely think it makes sense to put it on this side. So let's get behind here. So we can't really connect to this port here. So we may need to flip this again around, or we reroute the ladder a little bit. I mean, it's starting here anyway, so we may as well just like maybe start it over here and run it down here for a little bit, and then have it go somewhere else, something like that. But for now, let's remove it. So we'll put a T-junction here, and then we can put a conveyor sorter here, and one here. I guess we could go up, or we could go down, which makes more sense. Since there's a conveyor here that we don't want to collide with, we don't want to connect to the rest of the system, we'll go down. Okay, so I think I've welded this all up and constructed this all. So like, I have two conveyor sorters here. One points away from the cow container, one points towards the cow container, and the other end, they join again over here in this conveyor block. You can't really see from here, but let's see if I can show it to you from down here. Right, so this conveyor block here, they join with that conveyor block, and on the other side of that conveyor block is the connector. And the idea is that I can configure these conveyor sorters as I need. So if I want to, for example, I want to expel all stone from the rocket, I can just set this conveyor sorter here to be a whitelist and a for stone, and then just push it all out, right? And so forth. But at the same time, I can toggle these blocks on and off, or set them to whitelist or blacklist, and I can load and unload the ship as I need from in each direction. So I can just have them on blacklist and have them empty if I want normal kind of simple connector mechanics, but I can set them to blacklist, or to whitelist or something else, and activate that drain all if I want to have more complicated mechanics. Yeah. I've also rebuilt parts of this space here. So this is This ladder used to just go straight up here. But since there's no space for this ladder anymore because I have the conveyor sorter mechanics up here, it stops right here. And then I put some grates down here, and the ladder then goes up here and goes into the computer core. It used to come up here, but I've changed it, so it's now over here. I cleaned this up here a little bit as well. It allowed me to actually run these conveyors straight across here instead of having to navigate around the ladder. And the last thing I did... Oh yeah, I put these grates sideways here. Like as kind of movement limiters. That's pretty cool, I think. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's quickly go outside. So, the connector is right here. So now we just need a... Bye-bye, light. Got something going on this other side here, I'd say, huh? So I think I will need a piston or something here to have some flexibility with getting the connector in and out. Where's the drone? It's gone. What's this over here? No, that's the outpost. It's gone. It just disappeared. Oh no, it probably started doing its backing up thing again and just flew away, huh? Or did I mess it up and it got stuck somewhere? And it's like at 0 speed and crashed? Because I was messing with the speed, right? It's not down there. Well, I guess if it ran out of batteries and crashed, it would be an unpowered grid, would probably get garbage collected pretty quickly. That's not good. We kind of need the drone to be flying. Is this an opportunity for us to build a new one? One that's a specialized drone. Let's finish this here. We're almost done with this. Let's finish this here first. Okay, so this is connected. This should... Let's weld this up here. This should be just fine. So I should be able to disconnect the ship in other places. Let's see. Here. I think the only other place it's connected is here. So let's see what happens. Okay. The engine's fired briefly. It's not crashing to the ground. The big moment. That seems fine. Are these thrusters... They seem like they might be actually firing though, right? Yeah, it's going down. So let's turn them all off. Okay. There's some clanginess to the ship now. That's okay. Cool. I think that means we can install these hydrogen thrusters down here. Okay. That is done. Sweet. So it's 1.8 thousand, 1,800 tons, right? 1,800 tons? Yeah. What's the thruster lift? Large hydrogen thrusters have 7,200 kilonewton. So 7,200 kilonewtons are equal to 700, 730 tons. So this is... So my two large atmospheric thrusters can lift 1.4 of this. And another 400 need to be lifted by small thrusters. I don't know how many small thrusters I have installed right now. Let's check that. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 small thrusters. Each one of them does 1,000, which is should be then 100 tons roughly. So 100 tons times, what did I say, 7? That's 700 tons, and I need to be able to lift 400. So I can, with everything the way it is right now, I can just about get this up from the ground with the 1.8 kilotons of mass. I can lift something like 2 kilotons. So I need to be really careful with loading more stuff onto the ship. And or consider expanding the amount of thrust I have. Like, I don't think I was able to just add more large thrusters on these sides here without kind of bulging this out significantly, right? Yeah, because this is 3x3 here, and I would have to move it all the way out here, so it would stick out one even without a skirt. I could add more thrusters though. I can definitely add like 1, 2, 3 more here, and 3 more over here. And that, yeah, that would significantly increase my lift capacity if I did something like that. Give me another 600 tons. Yeah, I think I'll eventually do that. But I wanna kind of figure out how much lift I will actually need in the end. Let's look at weapons. So this is the first time that I'm dealing with weapons. Primarily what I want is a little bit of defense capability on the ship, right? So I think just some Gatling guns should probably do the job, putting some up here somewhere and on the other end of the ship, similar to where I have the thrusters. Maybe not quite as far up and back, but I do need to connect them to Conveyor. So there's an air vent here that I could just stick it on. Would I have something similar on the other side here? Let's see here. Where are we? Yes, there is. Does the direction matter? I'm not sure. That kind of points in the wrong direction. I assume these have full 360 turning capabilities. Not sure what it's doing. Okay, I think this is fine. I think I'm gonna put the same over here. And then maybe another set lower down. Maybe back here somewhere. There's no conveyor here on this side. So the question is, how do I get conveyor there? This is where the car containers are here. Let's see. I mean, yeah, I could just run some conveyor up here somehow. Let's see. Maybe something like that. I'll put another gun here. Maybe a little bit higher, so that the conveyor junction that I need to put behind the gun is in this floor here. Okay, so I think overall we should be in a pretty good position here. Well, we've lost a drone, so that's not a good position to be in. So we added weapons, and we added the maneuvering thrusters. We've also added the connector, including the conveyor sorter blocks. Reinforcing the armor. Given that we are starting to bump up against our cargo limit, I might not actually do that. So let's put some question marks in here for now. Outside of that, we're basically done here with these. So we do need to still fuel the ship. And we need the magnesium for ammunition. Move MMR to magnesium location. And then we need to load the ship with material. Ammo and components, but also some raw, just ingots. What exactly we need, we still need to determine. And it also depends a little bit what we actually want to do once we reach space. Do we want to, like, fly around somewhere, or do we want to, like, start, like, a small base somewhere on an asteroid or something? Do we want to find, which is another thing, do we want to find platinum and or uranium? So we actually might also need ore detector. Okay, so for next time, I think we'll focus on the gas parts. So we need to build a drone that moves gas from hydrogen from the ice base to our base here so we can fuel the ship. And that drone needs to be constructed, that drone needs to be automated, and we clearly also need to rebuild our MMR drone. And given how much problems we had with getting our regular cargo ship to fly this path, we might rethink how we're going to build our drone and like build it from scratch somehow differently. One question, for example, that I thought about earlier is like, do we really want a small grid drone, or do we actually want a large grid drone? Like, what is more lift efficient, so to say, right? Because it's mostly about moving the heavy cargo from the MMR to the base. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It greatly helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe. There's the button down below. Just click it right now and do me a favor, do yourself a favor. And if you would like to share your thoughts, please do so in the comments below or join us on our Discord server, link in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.